Today we're making crab and shrimp fluff.
This is a seafood casserole of sorts, topped with cheddar cheese and sprinkled with cornflake crumbs.
This is a very rich casserole using 1 pound of crab meat and 2 pounds of steamed shrimp. We begin by making a very rich sauce, which includes 2.5 cups of milk. And you can use whole milk. I'm using half and half. I always use half and half for my recipes. And 2.5 cups of mayonnaise. And we're simply going to whisk our milk and mayonnaise together until it's smooth and creamy.
I make this for special occasions like Mother's Day or Father's Day or Christmas. We're going to set our milk and mayo aside and mix the rest of our ingredients.
In a large bowl, we're going to add 1 pound of crab meat and make sure that's well drained and you've picked out any cartilage. Our next ingredient is steamed shrimp. I have 2 pounds of shrimp that were steamed with Old Bay seasoning. I definitely recommend using shrimp that's been steamed with your favorite seasoning. And I'm using 26 to 30 count, so I'm leaving mine whole. If you have larger shrimp, feel free to slice them into smaller bite-sized pieces. And for seasonings, I'm adding 1 tablespoon of dried parsley. You could use up to 6 tablespoons of fresh parsley. I'm adding 3 tablespoons of dried minced onion. Instead, you could use 1 tablespoon of onion powder. I'm adding 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm going a little scant on the salt because my shrimp are steamed with some Old Bay seasoning. Old Bay seasoning's #1 ingredient is celery salt. And I'm adding about 1/2 teaspoon of cracked black pepper. If you're using shrimp that's plain, that maybe you purchase in the freezer section at the grocery store, feel free to add between 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon of your favorite crab seasoning, like Old Bay seasoning. Let's remember, Old Bay is on the salty side, so you might want to skip adding additional salt. So just give this a little toss. Next, we're adding bread cubes, and this is from 16 slices of bread where I have removed the crust and cubed it. This is going to be so yummy, so yummy. And it's all going back into this 13 by 9 casserole. We're going to pour our mayo and milk over top of this. Give it another little stir. I may need a bigger bowl.
And very gently toss this all together. I find that 2 spoons work best, so I like tossing a salad. So toss this well until everything is combined. Transfer this into a 9 by 13 casserole dish. You do need to make it several hours in advance for all of these flavors to meld together, for that bread to soak up our rich and thick mayo and milk. Now I have 6 ounces of grated sharp cheddar cheese, so whatever kind of cheddar cheese you like, and I always grate my own. I love the convenience of the store-bought pre-shredded or grated cheese. I just prefer to grate my own for a recipe like this because you don't have that cornstarch or corn powder that coats the cheese, and kind of dry. And we are going for a very, very rich and creamy recipe. And our next topping is cornflake crumbs. I use a little more than a cup of crumbs, maybe 1.25 cups.
If you don't have cornflake crumbs on hand or you just don't like them, use some Ritz crackers and crush them up. And now I'm going to cover this tightly and refrigerate it for at least 4 hours. And then bring this out from the refrigerator 1 hour prior to cooking. It's going to go into a 325-degree oven for about 45 minutes or until it's bubbly.
This is cooked 40 minutes with aluminum foil. It is starting to bubble. So I'm going to leave this in for 5 to 10 more minutes uncovered and let our crumbs brown up a bit. You're really heating this up to get the sauce warm and the cheese melted. This is great at any buffet and served at any special occasion.